June 2025, Meta writes a check, $14.3 billion for 49% of a company. Not a chip company, not a cloud company, a company that pays humans to sit in a chair and label data. Say the number again. 14 billion for a labeling company. That's not a valuation. That's a ransom note. By 2025, every lab on Earth had learned the same lesson. The chip was never the bottleneck. The compute was never the bottleneck. Trillions had already been spent proving that. The bottleneck was judgment. Human judgment, harvested at scale, fed back into a machine that couldn't tell right from wrong on its own. One man controlled that harvest. Alexandr Wang, 28 years old, younger than the iPhone, richer than most nations. This is not a prodigy story. Prodigy is talent on a stage. This is colder. A teenager looked at the AI race in 2016 before anyone called it a race and claimed the one layer nobody else wanted. Not the flashiest layer, not the layer that trends on the timeline, the layer underneath all of it, the one you only notice once it's gone. Here's where the coverage gets it backwards. Everyone chased the model. OpenAI chased it. Google chased it. DeepMind chased it. Billions burned on parameters, architectures, training runs. Wang didn't chase the model. He chased what the model couldn't survive without. Clean data, labeled data, verified by a human, not a machine. Self-driving cars needed millions of tagged frames. Pedestrian, stop sign, shadow, not a pedestrian. Language models needed the same discipline in a new costume. Human feedback, one answer ranked against another. A machine taught, one correction at a time, what good sounds like. Nobody wanted this work. Unglamorous, invisible. No keynote for "we labeled 4 million images correctly this quarter." That's exactly why it was available. Every monopoly in this series starts the same way. Not with a breakthrough, with a task everyone else considered beneath them. Musk didn't want to run a rocket factory floor at 2 a.m. Huang didn't want to spend a decade subsidizing a programming language nobody used. Wang didn't want to run a data labeling operation with thin margins and no glamour. They did it anyway. That's the tax on owning a foundation. Somebody has to pay it before anyone else even sees the building. Wang didn't leave MIT broke. He left because he ran the math. Every month toward a degree was a month not spent owning the layer. Before scale, there was a poker table. Wang paid his way through early tuition reading other players for tells, probability, patience, the discipline to fold a strong hand rather than misjudge the odds. That discipline didn't disappear, it just changed tables. 2016, scale AI, small team, no war chest. First clients, self-driving startups, torching cash on labeled sensor footage. Thin margins, grinding work. Competitors undercutting on price, clients treating the vendor like a commodity, interchangeable, disposable, one bad quarter from replaced. Here's the near-death beat the profiles skip. For years, scale is one contract renewal from becoming just another outsourced data shop. Wang's bet that this becomes infrastructure, not a service, is unproven. Most labeling companies before him never escaped that trap. Most after him never will either. He doesn't outwork the trap. He outpositions it. He picks a customer no competitor can touch. The United States government. Defense contracts. AI infrastructure contracts. Relationships that don't get rebid on price every 90 days. A commercial vendor competes on a quote. A defense contractor gets embedded in a procurement cycle. One is a transaction. The other is a foundation, poured in concrete. The pattern that repeats for a decade. Don't compete on price. Become too embedded to remove. Then the ground shifts. Wang is standing exactly where it lands. Large language models arrive. A raw model, trained on the open internet, is useless. Unsafe. It doesn't know how to be an assistant. It has to be shaped by humans. Ranking outputs, correcting outputs, teaching a machine again and again which answer a person actually wants. That process has a name now: the fuel layer. Compute is the engine, data is the fuel. Wang, without building a single model of his own, ends up owning the refinery. By the early 2020s, Scale isn't a vendor. It's the invisible contractor behind the feedback pipelines of every lab you've heard of. OpenAI, Google, Meta, 1 billion, 7 billion. By 2024, 13 billion. Revenue nearly doubled in a single year. Most people think Scale won on speed. Wrong. Scale won because Wang saw what the model builders were too busy to see. Whoever trains the trainer holds leverage over every lab at once. It doesn't matter who wins the model race. He gets paid regardless. Every gold rush has a man who never mined. He sold the pickaxes. Wang didn't sell pickaxes. He sold judgment, the one input a machine still couldn't manufacture on its own. A refinery that arms every side has a shelf life. By 2024, it runs out. OpenAI is a customer. Google is a customer. Meta, building Llama, the open source weapon from our last episode, is a customer too. Wang is arming every faction of the same war. For a while, that's the genius. Neutral supplier, indispensable to all, loyal to none. Switzerland had this arrangement for 2 centuries. Sell to every side, answer to none. It works, until one side gets powerful enough to make neutrality itself the target. Then the war stops sharing. The labs stop cooperating. They start asking the obvious question: why is our training pipeline sitting inside a company that also arms our enemy? OpenAI starts pulling work. The neutrality that built the empire becomes the liability that ends it. Altman needs a fuel supplier he controls. Zuckerberg needs a fuel supplier he can own outright. 2 empires, 1 refinery, and only one of them can have it. This is the fork. Most founders spend years defending a neutrality already dead. Wang does something colder. He picks a side. He sells the refinery to the highest bidder, at the exact moment independence stops paying. June 2025. Meta doesn't buy Scale outright. Regulators would have questions. Meta buys 49%, $14.3 billion. Wang walks out of his own company and into Meta as Chief AI Officer, running what becomes Meta's superintelligence labs. Read the structure. This isn't an acquisition, it's an extraction. Meta didn't need the labeling business. Meta needed the one man alive who knew exactly how much of a lab's edge sits in a layer nobody else wanted to own. Zuckerberg didn't buy a company. He bought a decade of intelligence on how every rival lab trains its models. Then he hired the man who had it. Consider the asymmetry. Every other lab now has to explain their training data to the man who used to sell it to them. Wang has seen the inside of OpenAI's pipeline, seen the inside of Google's. He knows where the weaknesses sit, because for years, he was the one filling them. That's not a hire. That's a defection with a signing bonus. We've met the man Wang now reports to. Last episode, the liquidation of 2022. The open source gambit with Llama. The pivot from social platform to gravitational center of the AI industry. Wang closes the loop. Zuckerberg commoditized the model, gave it away, made it a public utility, starved his rivals' pricing power. Now he owns the fuel that trains it too. Meta doesn't just build an open model anymore. Meta owns the refinery behind every closed one. And the line from episode 3, updated. Sam Altman builds the application. Jensen Huang owns the substrate. Add a third clause. Alexandr Wang owned the fuel, then joined the man building a monopoly on everything above it. Substrate, application, fuel. 3 layers, 3 empires, 1 stack. Watch how they stop being separate companies and start being one machine wearing different logos. Prodigy implies talent that performs on a stage. Wang's empire was built by refusing the stage. A decade spent in the layer with 0 glamour and maximum leverage. where the actual judgment gets made about what correct means, to a machine that will eventually decide things for billions of people. Every empire in this universe runs on a layer somebody else refused to build. Musk claimed access. Huang claimed the substrate. Wang claimed the fuel. Rome didn't fall because it ran out of soldiers. Empires don't fail at the top. They fail at the layer nobody bothered to secure: the roads, the grain, the judgment. None of them won by being visible. They won by being irreplaceable, at a layer with no competition, because no one else believed it was worth owning. Visibility fades, infrastructure compounds. That's the entire thesis of this channel, stated once, plainly, before we move to the next foundation. Fuel and substrate mean nothing without capacity. Every model Wang's data trains, every rack Huang's silicon fills, all of it hits the same wall at scale. There isn't enough memory bandwidth on the planet to feed it. That shortage has a name. It has an owner. Boise, Idaho. A company most of the AI conversation forgets to mention, quietly rationing the one component no lab on Earth can build without. Every empire we've profiled so far has hit this same ceiling in private, even if they won't say it in public. Fuel without bandwidth is just a warehouse. Compute without memory is just heat. That's next. Choose your foundation carefully. Empire foundations.